places. So this is the problem, is that you we're just not prepared for it. So today's the last day of this heat wave, and then I'll be able to function. But it's been so I have to go, you know, obviously to places that are cool, because it's difficult. We're not used to the hot weather like you guys are.
And also, Prof, how to call your name? Prof Chris Korten, yes, right?
Yeah, you can call me Chris or Professor, or I mean, Chris is fine here. I think we're with colleagues, so. And also here's all the teachers from another countries, like teacher Federico from Mexico, and also there is teacher Nilufar Usmanova from Azerbaijan, and also Miss Shalala from Kazakhstan. Sorry, Kazakhstan. So Miss Shalala from Azerbaijan. I'm so sorry. So teacher Federico, do you want to say something to Prof Chris Korten?
Hey, good night. I'm in Mexico, so right here is midnight. But good afternoon, good morning, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's nice to meet you.
Hello, Fede. Is it Fede, yes?
Fede, yeah, that's correct.
Where in Mexico are you?
We're in a place named Metepec. It's very close to Mexico City. It's 15 minutes far. It's very close to, well, I don't know, maybe Toluca. It's a little bit more known.
And also it's close to Indonesia, right?
Yeah, very close. Very, very close. Okay. Very. Like 30 minutes from there.
Okay.
No, very nice. Yeah?
I'm very nice. I am like 2 days from you guys. Flying. 2 days.
It's a long way.
I check in the airlines. And probably like 2 days traveling to Indonesia. Wow. It's a long way. It's a long way.
Very long way.
Okay. Thank you, teacher Federico. Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
Come on. We have to go to another teacher's line. Miss Shalala. Hi, Miss Shalala. Do you want to say something to Prof Chris Korten?
Hello, Mr. Chris Korten. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Shalala.
I'm from Azerbaijan. Yeah, Russia is neighborhood to our
Yes,
country.
I know.
Yeah, that's why it's very hot over here and humidity is
is it also hot there?
Yeah.
Yes.
No, not always. In summer. Summer is very
no. Today is very warm here.
Yeah, warm. Okay.
So is everyone teaching is this right? Most of you are teachers in school. Is that right? A public school?
Actually, I'm teaching at the military school.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Maybe Miss Nilufar, you would like to say a little bit of words to Professor?
Yeah, thanks. I'm so glad to see you, Professor Chris, because I to talk to you a little bit. And I was amazed that you are in Russia, yeah, because we are closest neighbors. One of the closest neighbors too. I'm from Kazakhstan.
Oh, okay. Great.
Yeah, if you have an opportunity,
yes,
if you have an opportunity, I invite you to our country.
I would love to visit Kazakhstan. You know, everything has been sort of disrupted with the pandemic, but I would love to visit. I will take you up on that because I have other invites to Kazakhstan. So let's stay in touch. Maybe write me a message on Instagram afterwards so we'll stay in touch.
Okay, I will be glad.
Okay, thank you. Before starting, I have questions for all the participants. So this is for participants. Whoever see before Professor Chris Korten in media, social media, like Instagram? Whoever see before? Come on. Who?
Should the host
no,
the
you?
Host too?
Yeah. Oh, Haura. Have you followed it?
Follow not yet, but I have, a little bit see the professor's, Instagram account and all sorts.
Yeah. Wow. So we have to go to one participant, Husni Mubarak. As a candidate, do you want to say something to Mr. Chris Korten?
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you for the chance that given to me. Actually, honestly, I'm not feeling so well today, but I'm excited because, I I'm able to attend all the meetings of VLC-Indonesia. I am able to attend all the meetings of this event, which I think this is such an achievement for all the participants who managed to join all the meetings, because it needs our determination and good motivation. So yeah, I feel amazing. And thank you for Professor Chris Korten for being here. We'd love to see your presentation today. And thank you to all the speakers and all the participants. Nice to see you.
Oh, nice to see you too. All right.
Thank you.
Shall we begin the event?
Okay.
Haura?
Okay.
Well, how about we ask Mr. Beko here?
Okay, okay. Okay, Haura, go on.
Good?
Yep. Okay.
Okay, everything's ready to go. Okay, I think we'll have enough participants right here. Well, to begin, hello, a very good morning, maybe afternoon, evening, at midnight to all ladies and gentlemen from all around the world. We also have from Indonesia, you know, from us ourselves, from Saudi Arabia, and also from the Middle East, from Mexico, and also from Moscow, Kazakhstan, and so many else places. Wow, Syifa, it seems like, you know, we have tons of participants today, right?
Yes, and it is also a great honor for us to welcome you, and we also would like to thank you beforehand for joining us today.
Of course, we thank you all, everybody, you know, for spending a little of your day just to join us. And yeah, Syifa, I think before we greet the others, the teachers, and also the participants, don't you think, you know, we have to introduce ourselves first?
Okay, yes, of course, Haura, of course. I'm sure the participants here are confused, like, who are we and why did we just start talking out of nowhere? So, okay, you may start.
Okay, so hello everyone, I'm Haura, and today I'm here as the host of the event. But of course, as you can see, I'm not here alone. I'm also here with my dear friend as the co-host. Now, where is she?
Oh, right here, everybody. Okay. I am Syifa. Pleasure to be with you all, and I'm the other host that will be hosting along with Haura.
Right. Okay, so Syifa, how is the weather there? Is it like, you know, the usual?
Yeah, as usual. Here always hot and dry, but well, as we speak like before. I want to ask the others too. You know, we have quite a lot of time to chat and wait for the other participants here.
Well, of course, you must not forget that at all. And there seems to be, you know, the special guest teachers that has been in VLC-Indonesia before, like teacher Nancy and teacher, you know, Muhammad Ahmed from Egypt, teacher Federico from Mexico.
Yes.
Hello.
We also have teacher Nilofer from Kazakhstan, teacher Shalala from Azerbaijan, and we also have teacher Ira Aprianti from Indonesia. Wow, welcome. All right, let's see. Hello to Indonesia. How is the weather there? Like, who is now in Indonesia? Who wants to speak?
I think the majority here is Indonesia, right?
Okay. I think we know that the weather there is hot, and some of them are rainy. Well, okay. Well, let's talk with Mr. Beko as the founder, right? Like, how are you?
Wow, I have been good.
Why?
Okay.
Oh, you're doing good. Okay. Sorry, I misheard a little bit. Sorry. How is the weather there, Mr. Beko?
Yeah, I don't exactly, but of course, it's once the rain here. I can see the dark cloud.
Okay.
Dark cloud, right?
Yeah.
Okay, there in South Sulawesi, it says it's raining. Wow, we haven't had rain in here like for 2 years, I think. A lot of days here is just hot and sunny. That's all. Okay, I think we can go on next. Should we ask like from Miss Mexico, right? Mexico, we already know it's midnight. Okay, so Teacher Frederick, how was it like in the day? Is it raining just now, or was it sunny?
Today was very cloudy. Very cloudy. Yeah, but a little rain, not too hard, but it was a nice day, not too cold. Right now it's a little bit colder, but it was a great day, not too rainy.
Great, that's great.
So
okay.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you.
Tell me, Haura, what exactly are we doing today?
Right here?
Yeah.
Okay, so well, of course we're gonna do a lot of things. We have a lot of teachers right here, but as how the past event that was held by VLC-Indonesia are, we are having a certain presentation from and training from our beloved and special speaker, a little sessions of Q&A, and many more, you know.
Well, short to say, it will be a lot of fun today, right?
Of course, and also interesting. And Syifa, I heard that this event was held by VLC-Indonesia, right? Is it like a collaboration project, wasn't it? Like with Athira boarding school, MGMP school, you know?
Yeah, I mean, that's right. We have a collaboration with MGMP school in Semarang. Well, let me say hello to Semarang first.
Serang.
Oh, Serang, okay. MGMP school in Serang, and we not forget to our Indonesian School of Ryadh too, and also Indonesian Teacher Association. So it is a really big project, huh?
Right. It's a big project.
Yeah, not to mention this is our last day of the International English Training Class event.
Oh, really? It's already the last day? Wow.
Yeah, it is.
So we have to make this day as memorable as possible, right?
Yeah, that's the point. Oh, okay. Short reminder that Mr. Beko, we had sent the attendance from form in the chat box, right? So we would like to inform all the participants here. So please fill the attendance form, okay? And please remember to fill in the attendance forms at least before today's event ends, okay? Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the reminder to Syifa. Don't forget to fill them to Syifa.
Okay, noted. Well, you too, Haura, you're always forgetful.
Oh, no, I won't forget, of course. Also, another little reminder for all the participants to please, can you please open your camera and also stay muted unless you want to ask question. But throughout the event, we hope that you can, have our face-to-face together. Okay, so Syifa, don't you think it's, the time for us to talk with our special guest?
Of course. I mean, sure. I have heard that, Professor Chris is already here. So I would like to read a little background of, Professor. So he was born in the US and studied at the universities of Oxford and Cambridge, the dreamable university, and in addition to participating in many international conferences, he has guest and lectured at the universities of Hong Kong, Trinity College, Dublin, La Sapienza, in Rome, as well as Oxford and Cambridge.
Wow. And I also heard he was also a visiting professor at Moscow State University in the autumn of 2016. He formerly taught at the University of Warsaw, and most recently, he has been teaching in the Department of History at Mikowiz, I don't know how to pronounce that, University in Poznan. And so, Syifa, our special speaker for today's International English Training class is
Professor
Chris Korten. Welcome. Hello, Professor. So I know we're going to ask you again, how is the weather there? It's still uncomfortable. It's been wiped.
It's a little bit warm. It's great for the diet. Let's say that.
Right. So what time is it in Moscow?
It's 9 a.m. almost.
9. Oh, okay. Almost 9 a.m. Can we have like a little bit of little knowledge? How did you spend your quarantine days these days?
Good question. So I actually hold 2 professorships. One's in Poland, as you mentioned, at Adam Mickiewicz University, which is the 3rd big public university in Poland. And then I'm also professor in Moscow at the Diplomatic International Relations University. And I was quarantined in Moscow, not in Poland. So I've been teaching online in Poland and in person until very recently. No, some of it was offline last year, and then sometimes it was in person. So it's been a little bit uncomfortable because I haven't been able to return to the US. And so that's been the unfortunate, just the travel restrictions have made it more difficult. My parents, all of my relatives live in the US. So that's the unfortunate issue, but I think a lot of people are facing this. If you're working away from home, moving around is challenging. So I'm no different than many. The positive in all of this is I've been able to focus on building, some of you mentioned my Instagram, and that's going well. And I'm just working a lot more and entertaining a lot less. So.
Right. So then, summer break in Moscow right now, like the others here. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we start. Well, basically yes, but there are final exams. The last 2 exam days are Tuesday, Wednesday, and then I'm free for a few months.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you, like, what is your exactly?
Excuse me, Iqbal.
Yes?
Someone is sharing this screen. Who?
Screen, right?
Wait. Okay.
Oh.
Okay, it's back. Okay, continue, Syifa.
Okay, so Professor, what is your presentation going to be? Like, what is it about today?
So I thought I would do. Okay, it's going to be pronunciation, practical issues of pronunciation. And I'm going to intersperse this with my thoughts and ideas on my philosophy of teaching.
Right.
And hopefully we'll have an interesting discussion during and after.
Right. Okay. It already sounds interesting even before we get to the presentation. So let's just dive into it, should we?
Okay, of course. And of course, another reminder before that for all the participants here, so please turn on your camera and keep your mic off unless there are perhaps questions you want to ask. Also following around an hour presentation by Professor here, we also will have another 30 minutes of Q&A session where you are more than free to ask. So I believe we are ready to begin, right?
Right. Okay, Professor Korten, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm not able to, so someone will have to enable that option.
Right.
Okay, all right. Then we would like to welcome Professor as our special speaker for today. Professor, the stage is yours.
Thank you. All right, the host needs to enable my screen sharing.
Mr. Beko, I think the host currently is Sekolah Islam Athira.
Yes. Okay.
Maybe we can pass it to Professor.
Okay, I can do it. Thank you. I got it.
Okay.
So let's see here where we're at. I hope this is it.
Okay. So when just ask about the certification.
All right. So I'm going to talk about long words related mainly to subjects. And I think a lot of you might be familiar with these. It's not terribly long or terribly difficult, but it could be, it's definitely challenging for learners of English because the problem, as most of us know in English, the pronunciation rules and regulations in English are not very clearly laid out. There are more exceptions than there are rules, which makes teaching this very problematic. And, so you have this decision when you're approaching the topic, and also not just this, but other topics such as prepositions in and on and all of these. Do we adopt a prescriptive approach or a descriptive approach? Do we teach through rules, or do we sort of show more practical outcomes of the language? And I think this is always going to be an issue a methodological issue. I'll talk about methodology, but before we do that, the aim of the presentation on a practical level is to discuss how the stress in a word changes as suffixes, those small words at the end, are added to the word. So how the stress in English changes. So that's the practical element. I hope that we'll be able to talk about the methodological approach that I just sort of mentioned, and we'll do that here. I think whatever you're teaching in English, it's important that you sort of explain things. In the case of pronunciation, there's not a lot of explaining to do. You just do it. You just start to pronounce words. But obviously, when you're talking about grammar topics or other issues, explanations, I think, are important. But what I think the key to success, and most of us know this already, is to lead with examples and then have students follow up with similar sort of activities. And then that is then reinforced with homework of the same ilk. That is to say, it's all sort of progressive. And as simple as that sounds, I see lots of teachers, even intelligent teachers, deviate from this. In other words, they make it more complicated by not following through with similar examples to similar issues, similar in-class examples, followed by similar homework. And as simple as that is, oftentimes this is sort of not done. And I think it makes the learning process for students a lot more difficult because students are confused. And I think the clearer it is. So interestingly, as I've sort of gained experience over the years, I've simplified my teaching approach because confusion leads to no progress, and it can lead to regress, but not progress. So I try to be very clear in my classes. Maybe it's important to talk a little bit about myself and my accent and why perhaps I'm able to talk about this in a way that is, if nothing else, unusual. I want to begin by saying I'm not a professional speech therapist or speech teacher, but I've had lots of experiences, obviously with language and spoken language. And I think I offer sort of an interesting practical perspective. So as all of you know, I was born in the US, and then I studied in England for a period of 5 years or so. And then I moved to Europe, and I've lived in Italy, in Germany, in Spain, Poland, and most recently Russia. And no, I'm not counting travel now, I'm talking about living. And so I'm familiar with some of at least the European obstacles of pronunciation. But there's a secondary element that I want to mention, and that is that all along the way, my accent has altered. Now, I haven't set about to change my accent, but the surroundings influence your accent. So when people are often asking, because I do pronunciation on Instagram every Saturday, except yesterday because it was too hot. But in general, they want to know, are you teaching American pronunciation or British pronunciation, or who are you, Professor? What's your... Okay. And the truth is that it's an amalgamation. This is a very big word. Amalgamation, amalgation, is just a composition of different pieces. And so the different pieces for me are the different locations I've lived in. Obviously, I grew up I should say that I grew up in the Midwest, which is known for a very clear accent. So I had a very nice base to begin with. I didn't have a Californian twitch or a Miami dude accent or anything. I had a very clear accent. Then I moved to England and was sort of introduced to a very posh, a very posh level of English, I can say. Most of my friends speak in a very, have a special accent that I didn't set out to imitate, but it's influenced it a little bit in that my accent has softened and my pronunciation began to slow down when I moved to Europe. If you've been to Italy or Spain, you understand that if you don't speak slowly, you don't get your food. So this is really important. Okay. So I began to speak slower. And now I just normally speak this way. And so people ask me often, are you really a native speaker? Because most native speakers speak more quickly. And it's just how I speak now. I'm just used to speaking more slowly. The benefit for the learner is that they understand me. The troubling aspect for those ethnologists in the room is that they're wondering, what's his real identity? And so this is interesting. All right, so that's a little bit, but there's a second point I want to make about my background in particular, is that when I was born with a speech impediment. Impediment, it means obstacle, I-M-P-E-D-I-M-E-N-T, a speech impediment. This required me to go to speech therapy for 6 long, embarrassing years when I was a young boy. And the reason it was embarrassing is because they would take me out of school. I was in the public school. They would take me out of class once a week, and I would have special lessons on how to speak like a normal American. That's quite funny because I grew up in America, but I couldn't speak like anybody else. And I will try to tell you how I spoke. And what's interesting is Mr. Beko, unbeknownst to him, has signaled how I spoke. Does that say New York on the hat? I actually can't see. Maybe it doesn't say New York. Is that a New York hat or not, Mr. Beko?
Yep.
Oh no, VLC. I'm sorry, because there's a very famous hat that says NY. It's sort of okay. I see it now.
VLC.
So, sorry about that. So there's a very famous black hat with New York NY, and I spoke. This is really funny. I spoke like a New Yorker. Now I'm going to try to explain how that is. My name. So I'm Chris Korten, but here's how when I was born, this is how I spoke. Chris Korten. I'm Chris Korten from Omaha, Nebraska. I couldn't say R. And so everyone is looking at me like, they look at my parents and they think, did you take this child from New York? Where is he from? So I had to do 6 years of learning how to speak like everyone else in my state, in my city, in my school, because I was speaking like Chris Korten. And it was really strange. And unfortunately, if you're different, when you're young, you're embarrassed and you all have. And so I had a lot of complexes. Do we know this term, complexes? C-O-M-P-L-E-X-E-S. If you have complexes, this means you have a lot of inferiorities. You feel you're ultra sensitive and you understand that you're not different. Now, the reason I do this longer sort of disquisition, maybe we mute that person, okay. The reason I mention that is because during these 6 years, I understood a little bit of how people change their accent, how people change their pronunciation. And it takes, it takes consistent work over a sustained period of time. Now, I want to say it was probably easier, they would say, because I'm younger, but, and so I'm giving these pronunciation classes on Saturdays, not because I want to say that my pronunciation is the best, nor do I want to say that your pronunciation isn't satisfactory. Neither of those two instances. It's an opportunity for those who want to improve their pronunciation. This is it. And if they don't like an aspect of their English pronunciation, there is a chance to improve it, just like I did from age 6 to 12. And there's this option. But I want to give my sort of feeling on this because it's important. It's not that I feel I have the best. I think the most important, there are two important factors when it comes to pronunciation. One, the most important factor is that you're understood. Do people understand you when you speak? That to me means you have a good accent. If I can understand you, your accent's fine. Number two, do you like your accent? Here now it's a personal decision. The first option is a group decision. I don't understand you, so you have to improve. That's a group decision foisted upon the learner. The second option, which is where most of us fall, is more on an aesthetic level. Aesthetics is an international word, I think, so we might know this. Aesthetics means, do I like how I sound? And a lot of people say yes, and that's great. Some people say yes, but I'd like to improve a little bit. And that's where I come in on my Instagram and starting in July full-time on YouTube, where I'm going to be producing various language-related videos including pronunciation. And I wanted to make that clear. So just to sum up, I've lived in different places, experienced many different accents, and I also struggled to attain a normal accent when I was young. And so with that background, I think it's quite an interesting perspective to sort of discuss accents and pronunciation. Now, I want to say that if anyone wants to interject or have a comment, I don't think we have to be radio silent throughout all of this, but if you want to, that's fine. But if anyone wants to ask questions along the way, I'm all ears. You don't have to, but feel free to interrupt and interject, because this is for you all. It's a pleasure for me. And I just want to say before, while you're thinking of a question, Mr. Beko, I was honored that he invited me, and especially being the last speaker, there was a little bit of extra pressure to sort of perform, and but it's been and I look forward to meeting all of you during the course of this meeting. But Mr. Beko, thank you for facilitating this. And yeah, I now know why it's flourished, is because Mr. Beko packs a punch. And what I mean by that is he comes with a lot of energy and charisma.
Wow. Sorry. Thank you.
It's great. I see that immediately. All right, let's begin. Unless there are questions, I will, I'm just going to start. Now, I would like this, so you can mute yourself so we don't have a cacophony of sounds. This is a great word, cacophony. C-A-C-O-P-H-O-N-Y. Cacophony of sounds are all these disparate, dissonant sounds. And there's a great small word in English that we use. It's not often used, but it's a great one. A din. D-I-N. A very Anglo-Saxon word that captures what would happen if all of us unmuted our mics and started to produce these sounds. We would have we would create great din. And so you can keep your mics off, but if you want to repeat after me, so we'll keep this active, and then later we're going to have it interactive. So let's begin with the shift in stress. As we add suffixes, in this case, ity, I-T-Y, or A-F-A-P-H-Y, aphy, or ology, or istry. As we add these suffixes, oftentimes the stress changes, but not always. This is why I eschew is a great word, I eschew talking about rules in pronunciation in English, because my belief is that it's more confusing than just to feel the language and to expose yourself. So my methodology for my approach to learning, teaching pronunciation is exposure to the language. And then later, intuition. Now, I know that the women in this room understand intuition, but a lot of men struggle with this. That's a gender stereotype, which is sort of a joke, but women are naturally, I think, have this intuition, especially linguistic intuition. So I think we just expose ourselves to it. I'm not a proponent is a great word. I'm not an advocate of teaching. Some pronunciation rules I think are very helpful. But when it becomes too confusing and you find yourself memorizing more rules than practicing the actual speech, then I feel it impedes progress. So let's begin. Publicity.
Publicity.
Great. So I'll do the pair and then you can repeat it. I'll do it each twice. So ready? Right. I'll do both and then you repeat. Publicity. Publicity. National. Nationality.
Nationality.
Yeah. Good. Very good. Okay.
Nationality.
Nationality.
Very good. Interesting. Do you know what the nationality is of a person from the United States? Because in Indonesia,
American.
Yeah, in Indonesia, it's Indonesian. In Russia, it's Russian. In China, it's Chinese. In the United States, it's American.
American.
Yeah.
American.
American.
Very different. All right. Photograph, photography.
Photography.
Uh-oh, here we go. We're going to do this one next slide too, but let's do it one more time. Photograph, photography.
Photography.
Good. I heard some of you get it. Climate.
Mr. Christopher, there is one here I heard that say photography.
No, it's photography.
Photography.
No, it's not photography. It's photography.
Photography.
So
So we
photography.
have to just write photography.
It's really difficult, this one, because everyone wants to say photography. But it's not.
Photography.
Photograph, photography.
Photography.
So let's practice just the second one, because this is the bugaboo. The bugaboo is something that's the most difficult. Photography.
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 It's difficult. Okay, let's go to the next one. Climate. Climatology. This is very good. Now that one's easy, actually. And I know, do you know why it's easier? Everyone did that perfectly well from what I heard. But climatology and photography have the same emphasis. You struggled with photography. You didn't struggle with climatology because you never say climate and you always say photograph. And I think this is why.
Yeah.
All right, let's do the next one. Astronomy.
Astronomy.
Good. Astronomy. That's right. That comes from astro, so the stars.
Astronomy.
Very good. Chemist. Chemistry.
Chemistry.
Good. This is easier, I think. Chemistry. So if we look and want to devise rules, you can see what is the main rule that we see here when we add the OM, OGA. What is the main rule that we see in English? Not always, but mainly the rule. Do you see it? What's a rule we could use here if we wanted to?
Ending with T and I. Hiding.
Yes, all endings, all suffixes except this one moves the stress to the second syllable. Do you see that? Yeah. All of these suffixes move the stress from the first to the second syllable. Only here does it stay the same. Now people ask, why there? Why not the others? And I don't have a good answer, which is why as a teacher, you understand when a student asks you about rules and you don't have a good answer, it's normally not very comfortable. And it's never great to say, well, that's just how it is. But sometimes we have to. And with this pronunciation, this is why learning rules is problematic, because there's no logical reason why chemistry, well, there is a little bit of a logical reason here because there are only 2 syllables. Chemistry, no, there are 3. So it should be chemistry, but it's not. So there's no logic. Let's go to the next one. We're going to repeat photography because it's difficult. Are you ready? Now, let's do, this is a little bit more advanced.
Okay.
So I'm going to say the list, each of the list of the group of words all at once, and you try to repeat them. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Climatology, climatologist.
Climatology, climatologist.
Climatologist.
Climatology, climatologist.
Climatologist.
Great. You guys did that one really well. I have a question. Who is a climatologist?
The person who's spatial of the climate. Concerns
Yes.
of the climate.
Or what's another word for climate?
Okay, Iqbal, please, on camera, please, Iqbal.
Weather.
The weather. The weather. The climatologist is often the weather person, the weatherman or weather woman. We don't say weather woman, we say weather meteorologist, we can say, or climatologist. Climatologist is normally more scientific, and they might deal with more at the university level. All right, are you ready? Here's the difficult one. Are you ready? I'm going to say them. Photography, photographer, photograph, photographic.
Photography.
Wait, I'm
All
gonna
right, let's do one at a time. One at a time. Are you ready?
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
Photography.
Photography.
Photographer. This is the easy one. Photograph. And photographic. Very good. Okay, very good. Let's go to the next one. Economy. Economics. Economical. All right, let's do it. Let's do a language test. If someone is economical, what are they?
Someone who handle about economy.
No, if you're economical, that means you don't spend a lot of money. You watch your money very carefully. You're economical. Now, this is different from an economist. This is someone who studies the economy. An economist studies the economy, but someone who's economical is watching every penny they spend.
Yeah.
All right. Let's do it one more time. Economy. Economics. Economical. And a fourth one, economist. That's the person who studies the economy. And you notice when you have IST, climatologist, economist, these are people. Just like photographer, ER, these are people. Often these are people. All right. Now we have another difficult one. Are you ready?
Yes.
You can do it. National. Nationality. Uh-oh, one more time. Nationality. Nationalize. Nationalization. Good. Wow. All right, now I'm going to do all four and then you do all four. Ready? National, nationality, nationalize, nationalization.
Nationalization.
This is very good. You guys did a great job here.
Sir,
Next,
Professor,
let's
may I
do one of
interrupt a bit? Sorry, may I interrupt a bit?
civil, civility, civilize, civilization. All right, let's do it again. Civil, civility, civilize, civilization. Oh, that should be civilization. I'm sorry, I have a mistake. Civilization. Civilization, just like nationalization. I apologize about that. Okay. All right. Now, what does it mean, civility, or no, what does civility mean? Or to civilize? You know, this is a difficult thing to explain, I think. Do you know what civility, civilize means?
Polite, or
it means to act in an appropriate manner to the rest of society. So be civil, civilize yourself, adopt better manners or etiquette in line with the norms of society. So if someone tells you that, that means you're acting in a very rude or primitive, we can say base way. And so we want to become civilized. And so historically, we became civilized by educating ourselves, by doing what we're doing now. Education brought civilization, or brought civility amongst individuals, and developed civilization as a whole, because we're progressing in our knowledge. All right. Now we have an in-class example for you all. Uh-oh. Are you ready?
right.
Now I'm going to give you a word and then you have to find the equivalent. So we have an example: author, authority. Try it. Author, authority.
Authority.
All right, now you think about for a minute, let everyone have a chance to think. What is it? Person? What would be?
Personality.
Good, let's do it. Person, personality.
Personality.
Very good.
University.
So let's do it. Oh, wow. We have some very fast learners here. Very eager beavers, we would say, eager students. So we're on to number 2. Good. What is it? Universe?
University.
Oh, very good. Universe, university.
University.
Great. What about number 3?
Publicity.
Public publicity. Do the second one again. Publicity. What does publicity mean? Can anyone tell me what this means in English?
Community.
Community is general, maybe?
No, not exactly. It's different. Public and publicity are 2 different words. Even though there's similar roots, they have, it's publicity is when you are known throughout the public. So marketing and PR, they give you publicity. They make your name known in the public. So I have free publicity today with Mr. Bako on my Instagram because he's promoting it. This is free publicity. That's free publicity of my Instagram account. So that as an example, that's what publicity is. It's like advertising, but free. All right, majority. Great. Majority. Great. Let's go to the next one. We've done a few of these already. Nationality. Good. Number 6, reality. Change the stress. Reality. Good. Humanity is all of us. We are part of humanity, all of us. From Mexico to Indonesia. All right. Electricity. No, this one. Electricity. Very good. Very good. We're improving by the minute. All right. Now, let me just see. Okay. Now we have, these are subjects at university. Most of these. So, excuse me. So let's just go through these. How do we say the first one? Economy. What about number 2? Mathematics. Stress mathematics. Number 3. Photography. Good. Photography. Number 4. Economy. Number 5. Nation. Number 6. Physics. We know these. Number 7. Sociology. Number 8. Nationality. Next. Chemistry. So I have a question. I have a language question. Now, we know chemistry in the school. We know what that is. I study chemistry. I love chemistry. I hate chemistry. We know this. But what about the secondary use of chemistry between people? What does this mean? When I say there is chemistry between us, what does that mean?
Sense. Atmosphere, or we can say
relationship.
The thing that is between all of them sharing. I mean, we understand each other. For example, there's a chemistry.
Yeah, if there's a chemistry between people, that's right. You like each other, or you feel a connection with the other person. There's this, you have sort of we have a nice phrase, kindred spirit, maybe after time, you have a kindred spirit. So our 2 co-hosts have kindred spirits. There's a lot of chemistry between them. And you can see it as they were interacting earlier. There's a lot of chemistry, obviously a lot of well wishes, there's fondness between them. That's wonderful to see that. So there's chemistry. And you always hope to have chemistry between people, especially as a teacher connecting to the students. You want to have that connection because when students are connected, they listen and they pay attention a lot more. And we all know this. So this is a challenge for all of us to develop that chemistry. All right, history. Geography.
Geography.
Geology. All right. I'm gonna go now to this. Actually, let's do this one because we have some time. All right. So I'm going to wow, I don't know how to do this with a big group. I think it's going to be too difficult. So I want to skip this and I want to give you your homework. Now the homework, you can send me directly. I will respond, send it to my Instagram. You make a recording. So take a photo of this slide. I'm going to send the PowerPoint to Mr. Beko in a minute, but you can take a photo of this or, you know, a snapshot or something. And I want you to send me the missing words in a voice message to my Instagram account, and I will correct you or I will make a comment and help you. So this is homework for everyone. So we had practice, we had in-class activities, and then we have homework that have a continuity that reinforces some of the things we learned. All right. I think now let me just show you, for some of you who don't know, this is my Instagram account. You can see it here. Excuse me. It's at chris.korten. Send me a voice recording and we will have a little.
Oh, looks like I have followed you.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry.
Well, you can follow me now, but if you don't have to follow, but you can always send this message, the homework message. And my YouTube is the same. But let's move on to questions and answers. I'm quite, I think this is any questions, or hopefully some of us will have some answers as well. Yeah. But I want to just say it's a pleasure to work with you and to be with you. And I hope it's not our last meeting.
Yeah. Right, hopefully. Okay, thank you, Professor, very much for your stage. Right, Syifa, that was amazing, wasn't it?
Yeah, I learned something, yeah.
Well, we learn a lot, not only something, but we learn a lot, right?
Yes,
of course, what are our next session again, Syifa?
Yes, as Professor said, we have entered our next session, which is Q&A. So
okay, of course, the Q&A session. So maybe for the participants who would like to ask questions. Sorry?
So much.
Wow. Okay. So the participants who wants to ask question, do feel free to open your mic.
Right.
Sorry.
Should I unshare my screen now and we go to big?
Yeah. Right. You may unshare your screen, Professor.
Actually, I followed you a couple months ago.
Wow.
Oh, thank you.
I just realized, and nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So, so if anybody wants to ask question, do feel free to open your mic, state your names and where you're from, and then right away to your questions.
And for those who might not want to open your mic, perhaps you can type them in the chat box, and then we would gladly read it for you, and you may choose the method you may suit you the most. Like, okay. Is there anyone who wants to ask?
I think Mr. Beko wants to ask, wasn't it? Oh.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah. Oh, hello.
Hello.
Yes. Thank you so much for this great opportunity. And may I ask the professor?
Yeah. Sure. What is your name?
Yeah.
Sorry.
This is Hanan.
Hanan. Okay.
Yes, from Egypt.
Oh, okay, from Egypt.
Hanan from Egypt.
Yes.
Okay. Excuse me. The first one. Excuse me. The first one, you have to on camera, please.
Can you open your camera?
Is it a must?
Yep. It's okay.
Is it okay?
May I still closing it, please?
Okay.
I think no problem. Okay.
It's okay, no problem.
Thank you so much. So my question is, what are the rules of pronouncing the English words? Some of the words are changeable. For example, when I try to pronounce a word in America, so I pronounce it like the word color. For writing or for pronouncing, it is different. So what are the rules of pronouncing these different words or these different pronunciation of some of the English words?
Yes. Okay, great question. So I'm going to share my screen for just a moment. So as I mentioned before, some rules are helpful. So what we can see from this slide is that when we add these particular suffixes to the word, to the root word, we move the stress to the second syllable. So in some instances, rules are helpful in general guidance, but then we also have to be aware that not all suffixes move the stress, like in chemistry. Now, the problem in English for the speaker from Egypt who's asked is that the rules of pronunciation are not very clear. So we will say there are so many exceptions, and a lot of you know these exceptions. So I find it difficult to teach from rules, except in some cases where there are few exceptions. But because English pronunciation is not phonetic, it's more descriptive. It's gone over time. So we've adopted a lot of French words, for example, bow and these sort of words that have French endings. And sometimes we'll pronounce the French endings. Sometimes we won't pronounce the French endings. And so it's not phonetic in that sense. And so we've been influenced a lot by the French in terms of not pronouncing every word. I'm not saying that Americans should blame the French completely for our language. But we can do a little bit of blaming, play the blame game. Now, we are also influenced by German and Anglo-Saxon. Anglo-Saxon words are very short, din, D-I-N. All of these letters are pronounced. Germanic words that we inherit, oftentimes they're pronounced. This is not going to help you unless you know the etymology of these words, which a lot of you aren't going to know. I love studying word origins, so I'm familiar with a lot of these endings. The ology, of course, is a Greek ending, but this, or aphy as well, and also Latin. So it depends on the root and where it comes from, whether it was borrowed or not. And then it's a very complicated system. I'm not the perfect person to answer this, but I can just say based on how much English is borrowed, we've sometimes adopted their own pronunciation practices. Sometimes we haven't. In Germanic and Anglo-Saxon words, it's fairly straightforward. In lots of other foreign borrowings, it's not. And so unfortunately, the best practice I can advise is to learn the biggest rules of pronunciation, which there aren't many, and then just expose yourself to the language.
Okay.
I'm sorry, that is not very much help, except saying my best advice is don't get frustrated and understand that everyone struggles with it. Even today, did you notice nearly everyone struggled a little bit with photographer and photograph. So we can take solace in knowing that we're not alone in this struggle.
Right. Okay.
So it doesn't matter if the word is pronounced in different countries in different ways. So it's not a big problem. Like sometimes the PH is difficult for some countries to pronounce, like fa, or the TH are different for some countries to be pronounced like the. So it doesn't matter.
Well, by the way, you have a very good pronunciation. So you're obviously an exception to the rule. But I want to say that the most, as I mentioned at the outset, the most important factor in communication is, do they understand you? If they understand you, then the stress and emphasis isn't important. But oftentimes stress and emphasis can, I know from being in many different countries, if people stress the wrong word, the wrong syllable, I just don't understand it because I'm not used to hearing it with the stress. And so I'll say, excuse me, what? And then finally, I'll understand that they have missed the stress. So sometimes it impedes communication. Unfortunately, stressing a different word, obviously photographer or photographer or something, we were going to understand this word because it's international. But other words, it can be problematic. So to answer your question directly, it depends. If I understand you, it's not a problem. If I don't, then obviously it's a problem.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you, Hanan, for the question. Next, we have Iqbal, right? Haura?
Right. He has raised his hand.
Yeah.
Maybe, sorry, Iqbal, can you turn on your camera perhaps and state your name, where you're from, and right away to the questions.
Okay. So my name is Iqbal Al-Aghbari. I'm from Yemen, and I just want to ask a question, which is like, set, for example, I have a problem with that sound, which is, do we say set or sit? So most of the times we just say like set, and some people say just sit. Which one is correct, and how can I differentiate between E and I, for example?
Okay, so set, the first word you pronounce is a separate word. So this is a problem. You actually don't have an option to say set when you mean sit, because set has its own province in the lexicon. It has its own identity. So you can't use set for sit. But in formal language, it's true, people say set down. But that is very informal. You would say sit down. So so first of all, understand these are two words. I set the phone on the table, but I sit down. So two different words, very important distinctions, because, so that's the first thing. Now, the second issue between the vocalization of E and I, that's a separate issue that requires practice. And so like when I was learning my R, I remember for years saying R, 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 and it got gradually better until I got on top of it, is how I was taught. Now vowels are different though, but we have set, sit, And so both come from the back of the throat, and it's just going to take isolation and practice. Obviously, if you have a teacher who's adept at teaching pronunciation, this will help. But if you don't, you can still do it by listening. They have online these vowels as well, or you can listen to this recording here. But and what's interesting is if you try to slide back and forth, this is interesting. So you feel how it changes in the back of your throat. And I can tell you, it changes very little, hence the problem. And I sympathize with you.
Okay, Iqbal.
And nice to meet you from Yemen. Thank you.
Iqbal, are you okay? She's still. It's okay. It's okay. But thank you, Professor, for your answer. And hopefully, Iqbal, your question is answered by Professor too. Maybe is there another question, right? If you're not, maybe you're too. You're too not confident with your pronunciation, you may just, type your question in the chat box.
Excuse me?
Yeah, sure.
Yes, of course.
Can I?
Sure, right.
Of course.
Thank you very much. It's me, Husni Mubarak, and I'm from Indonesia. Actually, it's quite similar to the previous question about accent. To Professor, what is actually your suggestion to all the learners who study English, especially English, about accent? Sometimes we mix the accent. Sometimes we pronounce like a British accent or American or even Indian. So it's mixed. And also by listening to your story, your background just now, makes me think that, oh my God, learning language is complicated because people will judge you. Hey, where are you from?
You know, this is interesting. I want to just talk about a few of these things because we have an international group and I get this question a lot. So I speak in a way that is not 100% American. It's mainly American. It's definitely not British, but there's a British twang sometimes to it and maybe a few other admixtures therein. But what's interesting is that everyone wants to know where I'm from. This, I think, is a human curiosity that we will never be able to throw off. I think we first of all have to accept it. Now, I have no problem with people being from where they're from and speaking how they speak, as long as I understand them. So to answer Hosni Mubarak's question about accents, if you can speak British, American, and Indian all at once, I'm impressed. Because I can't do it.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I wouldn't worry about it. Let me tell you when I would worry about it. And it gets back to the 2 points I made at the onset of this video or meeting. And that is, one, are you understood? Which you have a very nice, very clear accent. I understand everything you said, despite the fact you're in the deep jungle. You see the woods, he's in thickets. I don't know how he's able to speak. His water's up to here. I'm joking. That's the first thing. And number two, do you like your accent? This is now becomes an existential question, a personal question. Do you like your accent? Now that answer might be more subtle. I like this, but I don't like this. So my challenge to you and everyone listening is the following. Identify the sounds that you don't like. Maybe you like everything and that's fine. Then life is grand. You can just chill. But if there is a sound that you're displeased with, you can change it. But you first of all have to identify it. And then focus on it. And like I do with my R, Chris, Korten from Quiz Korten, I changed. Now, when I was young, I didn't have a choice. My mother said, you're too different. Change. I didn't have a choice. I was a young boy. And when you're young, you want to conform and be like everyone else. When you get older, you have a free choice. Do I want to be a New Yorker in Nebraska, or do I want to be a Nebraskan in Nebraska? You have the choice. And that's my advice to you.
Okay.
Thank you. It helped a lot.
I hope so. I don't know, but I hope so.
Thank you, Husni. Am I saying it right? Husni? Okay, thank you for the question. Okay. Another question. Is there anyone who wants to ask? Please feel free to open your mic.
Someone's playing some music. Okay, here we go. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anyone?
Oh.
Yes.
Yes. Can I
Okay.
ask a question, please?
Right. You want to ask?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I'm Prima from Indonesia.
Okay.
I'd like to ask, as a teacher, that we should teach pronunciation to our students. Is there any tips from the professor to encourage or motivate, or the tips how our students can have a better or well pronunciations in pronouncing English words? Thank you.
Thank you for the question, and very nice to meet you. I would recommend something very practical. And when you say students, I understand them to be teenagers or younger. And teenagers and younger love certain things on their phone or on the internet. I would find out what those English speaking, like native speaker things are, whether it's music, or music is a little bit problematic because lots of rules are broken. But maybe a famous musician they like, or a group, and then listen to their interviews, listen to a favorite movie they like. In other words, tap into what they're interested in on the native level, native language level, and then steer them in the right direction in terms of good accent or good, clear pronunciation. Because if they already like the person or the group, then they will listen to them. And when young people listen, they adopt what they hear. They're very flexible. And the more you put in like that, the more they adopt. It's very common. And that's my recommendation, is flood it with things they like, but as a teacher, direct it in, you have a higher sensitivity to what's better English than they do. So maybe move in directions that can suggest, all right, maybe their songs aren't great, but listen to all their interviews on YouTube because they're really cool, and then suddenly they start to pick up this. So there are a lot of creative ways, but the general principle remains the same. Tap into what they're naturally interested in on the native language level. Music, culture, or art, whatever that is, find out.
Good, wonderful. Thank you for the answer and recommendation.
Yeah, very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Okay, thank you for the question. And thank you, Professor, once again for answering. Maybe we have one more question. Is there perhaps anybody who wants to ask again? Syifa, maybe Syifa wants to. Oh, okay.
Okay, right.
For sure.
Okay, I'm so sorry because I'm being late for joining this meeting.
No, it's okay. No problem.
My name is Ryadh and I'm from Indonesia. And I want to ask about the pronunciation. And I just saw Mr. Quiz from the beginning of this meeting. You speak slowly and I really understand what you say. And I just want to know about, can you give me some advices, like how to sound more like native?
How to sound more like...
Well, we're all natives of some language. That's the first thing. But secondly, you have a nice English pronunciation. So I don't see any dire emergency, but let me tell you what's nice about your question, because you have a very nice accent. What's nice is that you've identified sounds in English that you naturally like, that you gravitate towards, and you want to imitate that. I think that is an indication of interest level, of desire. And so for me as a teacher, I want to seize on that. Seize on it is grab it and, move that in the right direction. So obviously you speak well already and you have a desire to learn more. So, it's the same thing I do that I told the earlier speaker, and it's the same thing I did when I was a musician and I was practicing. I found those speakers, when I was a musician, I found those musicians that I loved hearing. And I just listened to them. It's enjoyable. And then as I'm listening, I'll repeat them a little bit and see if I can sound like them. And little by little, you change, because my accent changed when I was in England over 4 years. It changed. I didn't plan it to change, but do you know why I know it changed? I didn't even know it changed. But when I went home to visit my parents, my mother would say, you speak funny. She was referring to my Britishisms that I was incorporating into my language. And that's a result of being immersed. Obviously, you can't immerse yourself in Indonesia in British English, but you can inundate your ears with lots of these voices and things that you like. So I would recommend that. Find people on YouTube. I'm going to start YouTube full time. Hopefully I will be one of those people. July, I start making proper videos. So hopefully it'll be interesting. But find somebody or people that you like. Do you like the sound of their voice? And you like the content that they carry in that voice? And then listen. And then do what I do, and I think do what most people do. As they're speaking, do this, sort of imitate them and talk. And this is, I think, interesting because, first of all, you're listening to something you enjoy. And it's no longer homework. It's a lifestyle. And that's nice. But Ray, you sound great. By the way, you sound great. Well done. Nice accent.
Okay, thank you, sir. But maybe, for example, maybe I watch the TV, I watch the movie like Harry Potter. That's a very sound like British accents. And,
yes.
That's very, I would like to try not to see the subtitle, but it's very confusing me. That's confusing me.
Exactly. This is always difficult, when to stop the subtitles and when to keep them on. This is experiment and see. I think there's nothing wrong with being momentarily confused if you understand the plot. And once you get used to being a little bit confused, but mainly understanding, I think it can be interesting in terms of your level. So if you're used to relying on the subtitles, I would recommend jumping off and taking a chance and understanding 70% at least. If you understand 70% or higher, I think you can profit a lot from taking the subtitles off.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Have a great day. Nice to meet you. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. Shifa, do you want to start first? Go on then.
Yeah, I believe the professor have answered most of the questions here. Okay, thank you very much for all the wonderful questions, and also the professor who had incredibly answered them.
Of course. Thank you very much, Professor. Yeah.
Actually, I have one question. Yeah.
For sure, it's okay.
Yeah. Hi, this is Manisha from India. Actually, I don't know what is today's topic, but I have a question that actually I understand English very well. I can write English very well. But when it comes to speak, I don't know what is the reason behind it. I just stuck at some point, and you can say when I don't get any specific word while speaking, so sometimes I get hesitated. So how can we come from this type of problem? Because I have seen that if we are comfortable in our native language, that we speak it very fluently. But when we try to switch on another language, it's like we don't get any specific word and just stuck. So how can we remove this kind of problem actually?
All right, I'm going to say something controversial. Maybe the most controversial thing I've said today.
Actually, I joined little bit late. Not little bit, very late. So
No, don't worry. I'm going to say two things. Yes. One, I don't think you have a problem with hesitating. I think it's in your mind, but you didn't hesitate at all in your question. So first of all, I don't think you have a big problem. Yes. So I think it's self-induced. And number two, if and when you do hesitate to find a word, it's simply because you don't know the word well enough. So if you're grasping for a word, has nothing to do with your fluency. It has a lot to do with your lexicon. And so you just have to learn the word better until it flows out. But you speak fluently. You have no problem with communicating. That's all in your mind. So you have to remove that artificial barrier.
Yes.
And learning words is a different issue. And if you can't remember the word like this, let's not sugarcoat it. Let's not complicate it. It's because people don't know the word well enough.
Yes. Actually, sir, what happens, I speak Hindi very good. Like I just, if I want to, pass my feelings and emotion and expressions, it gets another person very quick, in a very deep way. But when it comes to English, I can't pass it to another person. Yeah.
I just told you my thoughts on that. I just told you my thoughts on that.
Okay,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yep.
Well,
If people struggle with finding words, it's simply because you don't know the word well enough. There's no other reason for it. There might be in rare cases, but this is 99% of the issues. It's not a fluency issue; it's a lexical issue. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Professor, and also Manisha, right, for the questions.
Yes,
maybe before we end the session again, maybe someone would like to ask another question. Please.
I will have to go soon. I have to say, I must go soon.
Okay.
So maybe we just end the session right here. Thank you once again, Professor, for answering the question incredibly, and also for everyone, the participants who had gave the questions. So unfortunately, as much as I do not want to, Syifa, according to the rundown here, right, the event ends right after these Q&A sessions.
Yes. Is this too fast, right?
Yeah, right. Well, you know what they say? I heard before that good time passed so quickly.
Yeah, we have no choice then.
Right. So don't worry, everyone. And also, Syifa, I'm sure VLC-Indonesia will make another kind of event that we can meet again once more. So maybe as a closing for today, wait, not to mention, isn't this the last day of the training class, right?
Yeah, you're right. These past weeks have been a lot of fun with the many speakers we have trained, right?
Of course. This has been a lot of fun. Maybe we would like to have a last talk with our special speaker today, Professor Korten. So how do you think the event goes? And could we have a little testimony from you regarding today?
Well, I have thoroughly enjoyed the meeting. I've sensed active engagement from the participants, a willingness to improve and learn, and hopefully I've met some new colleagues along the way. So Mr. Beko and to the hosts, the co-hosts, it's been well organized, very interesting, and I'm very proud and happy to be part of it. So thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you again, Professor Korten. Okay,
Thank you very much. Well, of course, I enjoy very much about Professor's lesson today. And of course, I think I learned a lot because back then my pronunciation used to be, I don't really like my own pronunciation. So I'll try to improve more now that I heard about Professor's lessons. Well, thank you very much, Professor, once again.
Thank you.
Sorry, well. So there is one period testimony from participants. So all the main speakers have to watch together, and also Professor Chris Korten. Okay?
Okay, so we have a video.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Of course.
Yeah. Wait. Can you see?
I think, right. Okay, there's a share screen.
Okay.
Mr. Beko, I think the sound is not playing well.
Oh, wait. Wait, no sounds?
Yeah.
Yes, there was no sound just now.
Wow. Okay, wait. Once more.
Okay.
Wait. Wow.
Okay, maybe we wait for Mr. Beko. We would like to ask another participants for their opinions regarding today's lessons. Maybe who would like to ask, right? Miss Suryani, maybe. Could you, yes, regarding your opinions about today's lessons, perhaps?
Sorry. Hello, Professor. I'm Suryani from West Java, Indonesia. Nice to meet you, Professor.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah. About this class, I have already making video with Mr. Bako, but I want to say about this lesson specialist from professors. So, Professor, I'm a teacher in junior high school.
Participants of international.
Okay.
Okay.
Just a moment.
Can be.
Okay. So, my decision from your lesson is that's okay if confusing leads for progressing, right?
I'm sorry.
Confusing leads for progressing. You will say like that. So sometimes I found confused to deliver about pronunciation to the kids, to the student. So, but it's okay. Okay, I'm sorry, professors. The questions is already representative from the others. So I'm very grateful. Have to know your lesson.
Right.
Very nice to meet you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Already done to watch together.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Suryani, once again.
Yes, you're welcome.
Okay.
English to participate.
Can you?
Hello, my name is
Yes,
Alice Rahmawati. I am from Ciamis, West Java, Indonesia. I am as a participant of international English training class. I would like to say thank you very much to Miss Nancy Ibrahim, who has presented the material how to make learning and teaching English fun. It is very useful for me. And also I would like to say thank you to Mr. Bako and team holding
lagging.
Something wrong? Program.
Yeah.
Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, Miss Nilufar from Kazakhstan. I would like to say thank you for your nice and amazing presentation of slang words and phrases. Although I'm not used to say English slang words in the daily English conversation, but I am sure it is important for us to know and to learn about it to make the conversation become more interesting, especially in the informal occasion with our friends or family. So thank you. It was really dope. Keep up the good work. Keep healthy. Keep happy.
Or Mr. Bako.
Yeah.
The video is not moving at all.
Really?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a problem?
Yeah. The video is not moving and there's no sound at all.
Well, I started joining this program on June 6th, 2021.
Can you hear? Can you see?
I got this information from the one and only Miss Sukma. She is a friend of mine. She is also to make friends around the globe, because this is an international event. And that is why a big shout out to VLC-Indonesia for making such an amazing event or program, which is International English Training Class. This is a place for me to learn, a place for me to have amazing afternoons on every weekend. Well, last but not least, a special shout out to Mr. Federico from Mexico. He explained us about explain us. Mr. Federico is such a friendly, creative, and innovative teacher. Best role model for all of us, especially teachers. Well, again, we've got so much beneficial information on that day. Finally, thanks a million, and I hope we can meet in another program, hopefully, and catch all guys later.
Assalamualaikum. Hi all. I am Mahyuni from Polman, Polewali Mandar, Sulawesi Barat, Indonesia. Big thanks for Miss Salila from Azerbaijan. Thanks for knowledge, inspiration us. Success for you.
Hello everybody, I am Mustafa, class from USA. Then on VLC Indonesia. Is it amazing days for today? Because I was joined on Professor Christopher class from USA. He is amazing teacher. He is a great teacher. He teach us about English pronunciation. I hope by this lesson I can speak English like a native English speaker. I just want to say thank you for Mr. Professor Christopher. You are the best teacher.
I'm Malasari. You can call me Miss Endang. I live in Indonesia, especially south of Jakarta. It's nice to be an amazing group to learn English. Special thanks for Miss Shalala to give us the material clearly. And also you are capable to make us understand it. Thank you so much to all speakers, and hopefully I'll see you again. See you. Bye-bye. Assalamualaikum.
Hello, my name is Andrew. I'm from North Sulawesi, Indonesia. First, I'm gonna say thank you to VLC Indonesia, and especially giving my best thanks to Mr. Bako as founder of VLC Indonesia, and thanks for all of the team of VLC Indonesia. And the second, I'm gonna thanks to Mr. Ahmed Aid from Egypt. I'm gonna say thank you for all of your lessons that we had learned last week about the easiest way to learn any foreign language. I hope there's no meet again in any event about what English. And by the way, I'm sorry for my English. It's not good enough, but yeah, may God bless you, Mr. Ahmed, and for the VLC Indonesia, God bless you.
I hope VLC Indonesia can hold similar trainings again, more attractive and interactive in the next time. I'm sure it her speech and sharing of the topic today, your explanation of our lesson today give her.
Isn't it great how cultures and customs are so different, but we are the same? And also, I would like to say thanks a lot for VLC Indonesia.
West Kalimantan, Indonesia. I am one of this topic was really amazing, interesting, full for us, and also you are all awesome teachers. Also, thank you so much to the committee. You are all very nice and wonderful. Thank you.
Hello everyone. I'm Aisuryani. I'm Sundanese from West Java, Indonesia. First of all, I would like to thank you to VLC Indonesia, and thank you to Mr. Barko as the founders and the team as well. I also would like to thank you to teachers, Mr. Ahmed Aid from Egypt. I'm very grateful. The pandemics gives me many opportunities to add and to develop knowledge. Obviously, the students as well. Hopefully.
Okay, enough.
Okay, thank you very much for the video.
Long time.
Thank you. That was nice. That was
okay. So for me, Mr. Professor Christoph Korten, I would like to say thank you so much. Thanks millions for coming here, for joining here, because I believe that all Indonesian teachers wants really know about how to pronounce English well, actually. So like Mr. Bako, still I'm learning English actually. So Thank you so much, a greatest appreciation for Mr. Bako, and also all the participants from Indonesia and also another country. Then, Haura, let me, and then I would like to say thank you to my best teachers, my best friend, Miss Nilufar, teacher Nilufar from Kazakhstan. Hi. Hello. Thank you so much for your knowledge. Yes, to sharing something to all the participants in VLC-Indonesia. But you know, guys, and also Prof. Korten, VLC-Indonesia, Virtual Literasi Community Indonesia, actually this is social charity. Just how to give, useful for human being actually. So this is the goal for VLC Indonesia. Like I invite props. I'm so sorry, I cannot pay you actually. This is free. So, and then so I would like to say thank you so much for Miss Shalala, teacher Shalala from Azerbaijan. Wow, thank you so much for your knowledge too. And also I would like to say thank you so Miss Hera from Indonesia. She is Indonesian consultant language actually. And then I would like to say thank you to Miss Nancy from Egypt, but she is teaching in Ireland, but she didn't now hear because they're busy. And then I would like to say thank you so much for Mr. or teacher Muhammad Ahmed Eid from Egypt. He's teaching in China actually. So all the main speakers, I would like to say thank you so much. So Prof. Korten, what do you think about Indonesian people like learning English?
I think it's great. I can't wait to visit personally and teach and interact with teachers and students in person. I'm looking forward to it. But there's a very talented group here, very talented. And there's a lot of teachers invested in learning and improving. So I think Indonesia is in good hands linguistically.
Wow. It means that one day you want to come here to Indonesia?
Yes, I would love to visit. I've never been, but I'd like to visit.
Which popular place that you know that's in Indonesia?
Well, everyone knows the one place.
Yes.
I mean, everyone mentions Bali, but I know there are a lot of other places.
Bali.
But there are a lot of other places, perhaps, as well, that are beautiful.
Yeah, we are waiting for you one day, Mr.
Great.
Okay, thank you so much. So I need one. Haura, you have to need one or invite two participants to give feedback to Prof. Korten.
Should we give another one? I think, the chat box is full of the testimony. Should we just go to the ending now, the closing?
Yeah.
Yep.
I think so.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you yet again, Mr. Bako, for today. We apologize for any inconvenience that happens throughout the event. And once again, we greatly appreciate the time that you have given to us for today. Thank you very much for Professor Korten and Mr. Bako, and to all participants and to all committees for this event.
Wait. One minute more. 1 minute. I want to give the time for Miss Nilufar. Do you want to say something? And also Miss Shalala.
Miss Nilufar?
Yeah, teachers. This is the last time. Teacher Nilufar, do you want to say something?
Yes, I'll be short. In short, I'm gonna say yes. Can you hear me?
Wait. Miss Shalala, wait.
I'm sorry.
Okay, come on, Miss Nilufar.
Yes, I want to send my special regards, thanks to you, Mr. Bako, for inviting me for such wonderful events, and for Professor Chris, because today's class was really important for me. As a teacher, I want to say that I have lots of problems with my students' accent, their pronunciation. I don't mean that accent is a problem. Yes, and I've took lots of insights from today's class, and I believe that in the future I will use all of these knowledges. Thanks for everybody, and I'm very glad to be here.
Wow, thank you so much. Sena, we have to go to Miss Shalala. Teacher Shalala, what do you want to say something?
Thank you very much. Special thanks to Mr. Chris Korten. I like this session very much because I'm also not a native English speaker. That's why we always need to learn to master our pronunciation, because English is an international language. That's why a lot of words word combinations include this language. That's why I always eager to master my pronunciation, because my students also have a lot of problems with pronunciation while they are talking. As a teacher, I eager to correct their pronunciation while they are talking, but then I understand that no, it's not correct. It will be good. It will be better day by day if they listen to something in English. Sometimes I am impatient about it, and sometimes I see that, yeah, I have also some pronunciation problems. That's why don't be worried about pronunciation, because we are not native like Chris Korten. That's why we cannot speak like him. And that's why, of course, we have to improve ourselves day by day, years by years, because we are learners. Also, we are teachers. Also, we are learners. That's why thank you to Mr. Korten. It was really helpful for me also. I would like to join your channel, YouTube channel. I'm going to join, and your Instagram page I will follow. It was really enjoyable, and I cleared some problems. Sometimes people ask me, do you speak with American English or British English? I cannot answer this question, because I say that it's mixed. My accent is mixed. It's not English or it's not a British accent. And I find answer for this question while Chris Korten talking. Thank you very much. And I thought that, yes, I said it correctly. Our accents are mixed. It's not so English or American or British. It is just English language. And we speak with our way, okay? Thank you so much. I really liked your conversation. I really like your session. Thank you, Mr. Korten. And thank you to Mr. Beko for organizing such a good program. Thank you to the hosts. Especially thanks to my friend, Mrs. Sukma, because she invited me to join this program. All of you, all participants, I liked your pronunciation. I liked your English. Your English is really very good. We learn from each other. That's why let's continue learning. Thank you very much.
Wow, thank you so much. A good testimony from Miss Shalala, Teacher Shalala. So, Mr. Chris Korten, give me the best words for Miss Haura and Syifa as they conduct our program.
Well, they are very able. They very clear, very fluent, very coherent, and they bring an energy in their voices. They're not the same, but they have a very nice dynamic together. They're great hosts, and I think we should consider keeping them in the future.
Okay, Husni Mubarak, one word for Mr. Korten. One word.
Amazing.
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 Okay, Sarma, one word for Professor Chris Korten.
The best.
The best. And Ray, one word for Professor Chris Korten.
Remarkable.
Remarkable. Wow. Prima, one word for Haura and Syifa.
Fantastic and nice. Oh,
wow. And also beautiful, yes, right?
Beautiful, yeah.
Beautiful.
Gorgeous.
Wow. Thank you so much. So, Professor Chris Korten, you have to follow all the participants. You have to follow Professor Chris Korten's Instagram, and don't forget also Mr. Bako. Yes. What about Mr. Korten? If there is participants who wants to know your personal numbers, may I?
They can find me on Instagram, I think, first.
Oh, like Mr. Bako, yes.
Yeah. Yes. Let's start on Instagram or via Mr. Bako.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much. So if you want to get the electrical certificate letter, you can see on a group. So don't leave it first in the group, because the teams of VLC-Indonesia wants to share all the certificates. But automatically we have to see attending links. Okay, I have to back to Haura and Syifa.
Okay, don't forget to fill the attendance form, okay? So thank you again and again, Professor Korten, Mr. Baker, and participants. And Haura?
Right, and we as the host for today, I'm Haura, today's host. Thank you very much for joining VLC-Indonesia International English Training Class in collaboration with Afira Boarding, MGMP School, Indonesian MSc School of Ryadh, and Teachers Association of Indonesia. See you next time, hopefully. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you so much. Wow. Bye-bye. Laugh. Teachers, laugh. 1, 2, laugh. Professor Korten, laugh.
I love you.
1, 2, 3, go. Okay. Already done.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Baker. Thank you, Professor.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Haura. Thank you,
everyone.
Haura.
Have a nice
Bye-bye.
day.
Okay.
Have a nice day.
Have a nice day.
Great day.